up? It's Jan back at it again with another nerdy bookish video. Consumerism has done it again, folks. Here's another book haul. Well, anyway, here's another book haul. Oh my god, the raccoon meme that says, well, anyway, here's Wonderwall, and like just that phrase in general and how like musicians have said it all throughout like shows and stuff. That phrase has just taken over my life. So, massive book haul, okay? Behind me, there are a lot of books, and I have been pushing this book haul off for months and months and months. Like, I literally have books from, I think, June, definitely before my birthday, because my birthday haul is separate from this. The birthday haul was exclusively on Patreon, so sorry, but I do have a couple birthday gifts on here, maybe one. It was a pre-order, so it came late, so that's there. I have a couple birthday gifts for myself. Pretty much all of these are birthday gifts to myself. Let's just get right on into it. If you're new here, I do not do full synopses for each and every book, because there are well over 50 books here probably. Google and Goodreads are free, that's all I'm saying. I will talk about them and like why I got them, what got me interested in them, etc, etc. But if you're looking for someone who reads a synopsis verbatim, I am not your gal. Sorry. Let's just start with my biggest purchase. I just bit the bullet and bought, oh no! The box set of Throne of Glass, but it's the UK paperbacks, okay? Let me enlighten y'all about some design elements that I keep ranting about when it comes to these books. So, the US ones have, y'all know what the new US paperbacks look like. They're like colorful, they use this ugly ass font, no offense. So it just bothered me. I couldn't get myself to buy them, and then I saw these, and they're the UK ones, and they have pretty much the same designs, but they use a different font, and they use more muted tones, and I just love them way more. So there's Assassin's Blade, Crown of Midnight, Throne of Glass. Wait, that's not an order. Not that I know this order by heart, but Heir of Fire. I love this one so much more than the US one. Love this one because it reminds me of The Lair, which is my Patreon, linked always down below. Queen of Shadow. Nope, that's Empire of Storms. Tower of Dawn. Love that one too. And then Kingdom of Ash. And then we can move on to the gift that I was talking about. This is from one of my subscribers, Lauren, from @thegirlwiththeblackbook on Instagram. They pre-ordered None of This Is True for Me by Lisa Jewell. They also got me another book that is in that birthday haul, but this is the other one, and I don't have the actual book because it's in my bag somewhere because I intended on starting it at one point. But here we are. So excited for this. This is Lisa Jewell's newest thriller. It just came out this month. It's August, by the way. Let's hope this comes out in August, but probably not. It's probably September by the time you're watching this. This apparently is like one of her best, and it has super twisty twists, but it's not like super out there to where it's unreal, like unbelievable type thing. It's just, it still like hits you, you know? Basically, it's about these two women who end up crossing paths, and they happen to have the same birthday, and one of them has a true crime podcast, and that's kind of all I needed to know. I just really hope it blows my mind, because I've been craving a thriller that just completely like blew me out of the way without it being like super ridiculous, you know what I mean? So high hopes for that one, because I loved The Family Upstairs and Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. A lot of her other books have been misses for me, but there's something about her that always makes me want to pick up her books. I don't know what it is. But one of my most recent purchases is Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. This will be my first Brando Sando. I heard this one's a good one to start with, and what got me is that he wrote this for his wife, and she was like,
"You need to share this with the world, my dude."
And so he did, and it's like the first of his like secret projects, and I'm just so intrigued. Oof, the sun is going down, and I really hope. I'm gonna have to bring out the artificial lighting if that happens, because this is a big long video, I can already tell. But anyway, I don't really know much about this one. I just know there's like a sea that's not really a sea, and there's, I think, a pirate and at least one dragon. So we're trying it out. We're dipping our toes, if you will. And I have Family Lore by Elizabeth Acevedo. This follows just a bunch of different women within the same family. I'm not sure if it's generational. I think it's just a few sisters within the family, and I think it's like subtle witchiness, maybe. There's some sort of magic in here. But this is a book of the month pick, obviously. So super excited because I've read The Poet X twice. I've read everything else that Elizabeth Acevedo has written, so I'm hoping this lives up. I'm not a huge fan of this cover, I'm not gonna lie. I know a lot of people love it, but I'm not a floral type of gal. So if it weren't for Elizabeth Acevedo, I wouldn't have picked it up. Let's just put it that way. I do love stories that have multiple POV, so we'll see where I stand with this one. My toxic trait is buying sequels without reading the first book, okay? And yep, I did it. The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. This is a sequel to The Serpent and the Wings of Night, which I did get gifted to me by one of my patrons, Destiny, so thank you so much. But I wanted to get the sequel before it gets picked up by a publisher and they change the covers or whatever. I just wanted my copies to match, okay? I've been less and less caring about that matching situation, but in this case, I needed it to match. I don't know why. I also have Slaying the Vampire Conqueror because my friend Sarah from Sarah's Shelves bought it for me for my birthday. So I do have that one, and I know it's a spin-off set in the same world, so I just need 6 Scorched Roses or whatever. I don't think that one I'd mind as much if I have it in a different type of cover because it's already like a whole different color anyway. So this is like a vampire fantasy romance that everyone's talking about. You know, you've heard about it. Carissa Broadbent, you've heard about it. If you've been on BookTok or Bookstagram for like 5 minutes, you've seen this cover. Maybe not this one, but the first one for sure. Another vampire book I have is Court of the Undying Seasons, Full Moon Book Club pick. Again, I don't know when this video is gonna go up. The live show link down below. It's a YA vampire story set in a school. It's by A.M. Strickland, who wrote In the Ravenous Dark. But yes, I do have a book club called the Full Moon Book Club. I host it by myself, and then I have guest hosts every month. Our live shows are on the full moon of every month. I have a Google form down below, so you could sign up for the e-newsletter that I send out on the 13th of every month. Otherwise, you could just hear what the picks are from my videos or live shows or community tab or Instagram. I don't have an Instagram for this book club. It's just all on Jan Agaton, which is always linked down below. Sorry, that was a lot, but I would love to have you participate and discuss with us because this book club's been going on for like 2 years now, over 2 years, and it still blows my mind that people do this with me. So I would love to have you as well. The Google form is linked down below, but it's not mandatory. It's just to put faces to names type thing, get to know you more. And like I said, if you want to sign up for the e-newsletter. Next is a book I actually already read for a 24-hour readathon where Joey picked my TBR, but I read it for a Patreon exclusive vlog where I read for 24 hours and whatever. But There Are No Saints by Sophie Lark. Dark romance, love this one. It was one of the most surprising 5 stars of the year for me. If you like the Mindfuck series, listen to me. You'll love this as well. I have yet to read the sequel, and my friend Christina from Christina's Chapters got me the sequel for my birthday, so I'm excited to dive into that. But I went into it pretty much blind, besides knowing that it's a dark romance and it's compared to the Mindfuck series. So I suggest you do the same, but it has illustrations in this edition, so I do recommend getting the physical copy because look at this gorgeous cover. Come on, it screams Jan. But it's basically about these artists, and they kind of cross paths, and they're all just unhinged characters, okay? There are brutal scenes, there are good steamy scenes, there's that tattoo gun scene. Yeah, I recommend. And I don't recommend like those book talk books too often, so take that information as you will, or whatever the saying is. Then I have a book I got from the clearance section at Half Price Books, The Ruins by Phoebe Wynn. This is the author of Madam, which is literally one of my favorite books, honestly, but I feel like I don't even talk about it enough, and I definitely don't see a lot of other people talking about it enough. This was kind of just like an auto buy based on the author type thing for me. Well, I guess it wasn't auto because I didn't even hear about it until this year, and I waited until I found it in the clearance section for $4. But I think it has like Gothic vibes, and it's set on the Chateau des Sept, a jewel of the Côte d'Azur, where long summer days bring ease, glamour, and decadence to the holiday makers who can afford it. So I feel like there's like rich people problems. If it's anything like Madam, it probably has like the Gothic-esque type of writing where it's like a slow burn type of thriller. I don't know, we'll see. It is set in the summer, it looks like, which is not a thing I'm a huge fan of, but I don't know, something about it reminds me of The Villa, and I hope it's similar because I loved The Villa by Rachel Hawkins. I know, I'm not doing too well with these synopses, I'm sorry. And I'll definitely not do well with this synopsis because I don't even know. I just grabbed this from my coworker who went to a library event and he was giving away ARCs. So I was like, okay, let me get Wine People. So this comes out, I don't know, but this is by Michelle Wildgen. I don't know, but look at this cover. She's diving into a glass of wine. That's a mood. I think this is like literary fiction. Ren and Thessaly collide when they land coveted jobs at a glamorous New York City boutique wine importer. And so we have a by-the-book type of character who's hardworking, modest background, and then Thessaly hails from a family of prestigious California growers, but plagued by self-doubt. With mouth-watering descriptions of food and wine, this book takes readers from France, Germany, and Italy to the Midwest and California wine country in an utterly entertaining page-turner. So I'm assuming there's like some dry humor in this, you know, there's some character growth probably. It's like a character study, I'm guessing. And you get to travel with the characters, so sounds like a fun time. Another arc I'm super excited for, it comes out in January, and it's like a Medusa retelling, A Drop of Venom by Sajni Patel. Like I said, it's a Medusa retelling, that's all I needed to know. This cover is all I needed to know, and it's a YA fantasy. I'm not a huge like mythology type of reader. Like I've read Circe and Song of Achilles, and I've tried, what's that called? Ariadne, but DNF that. But I do own a few more like Lore and Stoneblind and this one, and I can get behind a Medusa retelling, I think. So I'm excited to try this out, especially because it's by a BIPOC author. Next, I have a book I got for $5 because Barnes & Noble was doing that thing where you can get this book for $5 if you buy a cafe item. So I bought a Starbucks drink and got The Saturday Night Ghost Club by Craig Davidson. I believe this is Nick Cutter's pen name. People have compared this to Stranger Things and like The Midnight Club is what it sounds like. It takes place in 1980s Niagara Falls, and I heard it's more of like a coming of age story rather than like a horror. I'm gonna try to close these blinds and see if that helps these sunspots. Okay, the lighting has definitely changed, but I feel like this is better and no one's getting blinded. Blinded by the light. Next, we have One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake, and I have the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. I was just like, I'm gonna get this. I have read the Atlas 6 and Alone with You in the Ether, and I figured I'd just read everything she writes. I also have Masters of Death in the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. So this one's a vampire story. Filipino vampire, real estate agent. And there's also like a medium who's a shameless fraud, a poltergeist, a demonic personal trainer, a sharp-voiced angel, a love-stricken reaper, and a few mindfulness practicing creatures. Like that just sounds like a good fun time. I have read the Amazon sample and that's what made me want to buy it, and I love that all of Olivia Blake's novels have like illustrations in them. This one's also no exception. There's gorgeous illustrations. Atlas 6 had it too. But yeah, she is half Filipino, in case you didn't know. But this one's witchy and it's urban fantasy set in New York, and I've heard really good things about this one. I know my friend Steph from Stephanie Bookish really loved this, so I'm excited to dive into both of these. Still have to read the sequel to Atlas 6, which I do own as well, so I'm an ARC 4 actually, but one of my subscribers has sent that one to me. Next, I have one that not too many people have talked about, especially in the US. I've heard a lot of, I don't even know if this is out in the US because Barnes & Noble couldn't find it. So I had to get it from Amazon, and it's a UK paperback. You can just tell by the stiffness. But Bitterthorn by Kat Dunn. And this is another witchy book. It's sapphic. It's like fairy tale-esque, but I heard the writing is beautiful, and it's like also like a Gothic type of romance. So yeah, it says a lost soul, a dark, alluring witch, a terrifying secret. So I'm excited to pick this up when I'm in the mood for that type of story, but I have to be in the mood because those fairy tale type of stories don't work well for me unless I'm like really seeking that out, you know what I mean? Next we have Maeve Fly by CJ Lead. Love this cover, it's so creepy. So this is a horror, obviously, if you couldn't tell, a really short horror about this Disney princess type of gal who works as pretty much like a Disney princess. I think she's either Anna or Elsa or something. I think she's Elsa technically, but they don't really say it in the book. And then at night, I think she's like a serial killer or something, and it's like a female revenge story. It's from the perspective of the villain, so I'm excited. I've heard mixed reviews about it, but I'm really hoping it's a high rating for me. Next, I have another sequel for a book I haven't read yet. Chain of Iron, for a first book I haven't read yet. This is book 2 in the last hours. I'm still making my way downtown through the Shadowhunters universe. I am on Clockwork Angel. I've read the first 3 Mortal Instruments books, and we're jumping into the Infernal Devices, and then we're gonna do it in publication order. I did buy like all of them already. The only ones I don't own are the Mortal Instruments, because I know those are like but for books that are this big, like I will want to annotate this. So I got them from Pango. What's ironic, I've said this before, is that the reason I started reading Cassie Clare books is because of the Chain of Thorns cover. That's like this vibe, you know? But the only one of the 3 that I don't have that cover for is Chain of Thorns, because I found this one on Pango for cheaper. This one's gorgeous. I don't remember, is this the Illumicrate one? I don't remember, but it's just everything. So I'm excited to see what the hype's about in that series. Oh, I have another gift, but it wasn't a birthday gift. It was a 6K gift. The Return by Rachel Harrison from one of my vamps, Ashlyn. So thank you so much. Joey has already read this copy because I just finished reading this via audio, and Rachel Harrison is easily one of my new favorite authors. Loved Cackle. I'm reading Such Sharp Teeth right now, and I can't wait for Black Sheep. Already have it pre-ordered, but I gave this one 4 stars. Really enjoyed the ending part. It did take a long time to build up, but via audio I couldn't really, you know, tell. But Joey said the chapters are really long in the physical book, so I mean, I'm not surprised. But like the ending, the second half really did get creepy. One of the friends in this female friend group went missing and then comes back after, what was it, 3 years or something like that, and something's changed and it's creepy, and I enjoyed it. I was listening to this while doing my diamond painting, and I was home alone, and I was literally like creeped out, like getting goosebumps and chills type of thing. So I don't know, I mean, it's probably not for everybody. Joey gave it a 3-star, which I was expecting, but I love Rachel Harrison. So my other book of the month pick was Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Cañas. This is the author of The Hacienda. It's like a Western. I don't think I've ever read a Western, and it's like historical fiction type of thing. There are vampires, and it's set in, 1840s Mexico. I'm excited to try this out. I am scared because, again, I don't recall ever reading a Western, so we'll see. Next, I have a purchase from one of our local horror bookstores here called Bucket of Blood. I got Last Days by Adam Neville. Chunky boy. I also have No One Gets Out Alive by Adam Neville. I have read The Vessel by him and didn't really like it. I think I gave that 1 or 2 stars actually. But this one's a cult horror book. I think I'm gonna read No One Gets Out Alive before this one, but I haven't heard anyone talk about this. There's a documentary maker. He's asked to shoot a film on the notorious cult known as the Temple of the Last Days. There are like out-of-body experiences, nocturnal visitations. It sounds creepy. It sounds like it's something I genuinely get scared of, so hopefully it lives up to my own hype. Next, I have another book that I've already read. It was my Patreon buddy read for July. Everything the Darkness Eats by Eric LaRocca. Another horror. Love Eric LaRocca. I've read like everything this author has written so far, I believe. I think this is their debut like full novel, but like look how, I just love it. This is very dark, very heavy, so please do look up trigger warnings because it gets brutal. I finished this during Summerween. If I remember, I'll link that vlog down below so you could get my full thoughts on it, but I just love this sleek cover. But yeah, the prologue hits so hard. Like, I love the prologue. And then it kind of loses its energy, but it's still really good. I love this author's writing, so I think I give this 4 stars. Next, we have another book I already read. Look at me go. Buying books and then actually reading them right away. Like, what a concept. Soichi? Still don't know how to say this, I'm so sorry, but it's by Junji Ito, the horror manga king. This one I gave 3 stars though. It wasn't my favorite of his works, but it was his newest. It follows this character. He's super creepy. It's a story collection, but they all revolve around this character. It's not like each one's like super different, you know what I mean? Which I've come to realize that I don't really like in Junji Ito. But still a fun time, still spooky, still creepy. The art is still amazing. Another book I've already read, Sing Me to Sleep. I gave this 5 stars. This is by Gabby Burton. This is Fairy Loot edition. As I get my Fairy Loot editions, I've been trying to read them right away. So yeah, I actually finished this on the morning of my 26th birthday this year, so it was a great start to my day. This is about a siren who lives in a kingdom where her existence is pretty much illegal. It is illegal, and she is very protective of her little sister because she has some secrets as well, and then she gets this job to be a guard for this prince or something. So she's hiding a lot of things, protecting her identity, her sister's identity, like all these things are going on, okay? And it's just really well written, and it's like addictive writing, you know? I'm not a set on water book girly, but this one was an exception. I'm usually not into the whole sirens mermaids thing, but the sirens are growing on me. Yeah, I love this one. It's by a Black author. It has social commentary, you know, the sirens' existence being illegal in this kingdom, so the author relates it to like racism and just like various prejudices in the world. There's also commentary on the pandemic in here. I mean, it's brief, so if you're not into that, still read this book, but it's chock full of social commentary, which I love in fantasies if it's done well, and this was done well, and I can't wait for the second book. It's super riveting, really love it. It's a debut, the writing's great. Next I have Scorched Grace by Margot Dewey. I definitely learned how to say this author's last name and I totally forgot. But I bought this for Noelle's Silly Goose book club and I never read it. But it's about this badass nun. Like, this is one of my favorite covers of 2023. It's about this badass nun who like chain smokes and has a bunch of tattoos and is queer and tries to solve a murder mystery. I do want to try to get to this soon, but I'm glad I have the paperback because I don't think it came out in it's come out in paperback yet. This is the UK version as well. But I've heard decent things about this one, so excited. And it's so cute and small. Next I have another arc from one of my subscribers, Christina. Games and Rituals, it's a story collection. This came out already though in April. Author of Early Morning Riser, which I have seen around but I haven't read yet. It just sounds so fun. Like, what got me was, I think there was this one story where a bunch of her exes living in the same house or something. I don't know, but I just read Erica's elderly father mistakes his $4,000 hearing aid for a cashew and eats it. There you have it. There's one of those stories. Oh, I got another edition of Dracula. I think there are a couple in this haul. And this one has illustrations too, but I'm not going to show them because I'm doing a Dracula collection. What? Why was I gonna say collection again? Dracula collection video for Patreon where I go pretty much in detail and make it all artsy, or at least try to. But I now have 10 editions of Dracula, so I did promise them that I would do that. So I'm excited. But yeah, I got this from a Chicago bookstore and I love this creepy cover. Next, I have another book from the clearance section, Half Price Books. Got it for $2. Sin Eater by Megan Campisi. I kind of screamed when I saw this because I know, like, for a while on Amazon and especially at Barnes & Noble, this was so expensive, and I got it for $2. It says The Handmaid's Tale meets Alice in Wonderland in this inventive historical novel about a girl in 16th century England who is sentenced to be a sin eater and finds herself caught up in a deadly plot at the heart of the Queen's court. She'll suffer for their sins, but will she keep their secrets? Next, I have another Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, If We Were Villains, and it has the black sprayed edges, the blue cover. I bought this because Sid from Sid Bookworm really loves it. I've seen this on like every Dark Academia must-read list, and I do love Dark Academia. I feel like I can't claim that without reading this book, so I'm gonna suck it up and deal with the Shakespeare shit that I'm intimidated by and just read this book soon. I don't know if it's gonna be this year, but I bought a pretty edition so that I get to it soon. I heard people cry, so I hope I cry. Next, we have one of Joey's books that he gave me from his Abominable Book Club box, not sponsored, but I did read this from the library already and he DNF'd it, so he gave it to me. The Salt Grows Heavy by Cassandra Caw. I hated Nothing But Blackened Teeth, but love this. I love the writing in this. It's still kind of wordy, kind of obvious that Cassandra Caw used a thesaurus, but it's like fantasy horror with like a mermaid and a witch doctor, a plague doctor or something, so I loved it. I don't even know how to explain it. I'm definitely gonna reread it and annotate. Like, look at this edition though, it's gorgeous. Then we have another book that I've already read, Yellow Face by R.F. Kong. Another Barnes & Noble exclusive. I really love this, 5 stars. It's a brilliant book. I mean, it's from the antagonist perspective. It's just this white woman who steals an Asian author's work after she passed away. She was her friend and she just claims that as her own and justifies how this is not racist and not wrong and faking all the research that her friend did for this manuscript, and yeah, it's a lot. And it also has some thrillery aspects in it too, which was unexpected for me personally. Slowly but surely becoming one of my new favorite authors as well. Have read Babel this year. Finally finished it. Can't wait to read The Poppy War soon. Yeah, if you haven't read this yet, please do. I already gifted this to like 2 of my friends this year, so highly recommend. And it's a quick read too, and it has like humor. Next I have, oh, a gift from one of my friends, Emily, from My Chaotic Shelf on Instagram. She got me Dreams Lie Beneath by Rebecca Ross, author of Divine Rivals, which is my #1 book of the year. This is a YA. It's a fantasy about like dreams and nightmares and something happening on the full moon or new moon or whatever. I'm just intrigued by the magic in this. I know close to nothing about it, and I kind of want to just go into it blind and enjoy Rebecca Ross's beautiful writing. Another one of my toxic traits is buying special editions of books I haven't read yet. So this is my second copy of Seven Faceless Saints. But like, look, so gorgeous. Like, come on. There's the print. But I got this from Pango and it was not too expensive, so I just did it. I bought the original, oh, it's right there, when it first came out. It's like a dark YA fantasy set in Italy. There are like serial killers and a murder mystery, and it just sounds really like captivating. Oh my god, I totally forgot I even bought this book. Yikes. But I bought The Caretakers because look at this cover. I just love the trend of putting windows on covers like that. Like A Quiet Life. So good. This is set in France. Ew, I keep forgetting that there's deckled edges. I got this from Pango as well. Set in a wealthy Parisian suburb, an emotionally riveting debut told from the point of view of 6 women and centered around a group of au pairs, one of whom is arrested after a sudden and suspicious tragedy strikes her host family. A dramatic exploration of identity, class, and caregiving from a profoundly talented new writer. I was gonna do like a thriller set in France vlog because I love anything set in France, and this was gonna be one of them. I guess let me know if you want that, because I could still do that, but I mean, I have this regardless, so I'll read this eventually. Next, I have another book with deckled edges. I got another copy of Jane Eyre. The copy that I already had was from Goodwill, and it was like a special edition. I wanted this one. This is the Penguin Deluxe Classics edition. I have the Dracula edition of this. What? In this collection. So I wanted them to match. I'm really excited to read Jane Eyre. It's also on my 23 for 2023, as well as my scratch off poster that I've yet to make progress on this year. Besides Dracula, I scratched off this year. Just the fact that I haven't read Jane Eyre yet just feels like a crime to me, and I feel like I'm gonna feel like a way more well-rounded reader once I get to this and a few other classics on my list. So like, look at the back, she's so cute. All right, and then this one the publisher sent to me, so thank you so much. Poor Nightfire sent me this. Looking Glass Sound by Katrina Ward. I will do my Katrina Ward vlog. It was supposed to be in August, but I got slumpy for a little bit there, so it will be happening. Came out in August. I heard really good things about this one. The bloodstained path of the killer that stalked his small vacation town. Is this the one where there's an author? Yeah, there's an author and he's like losing his memory. So I'm guessing it's like an unreliable narrator type of thing. I heard the twists in this one are good. I love The Last House on Needless Street, so I'm excited to read more from this author. Next, I have another sequel that I bought before reading the first one, but now I'm like halfway through the first one, so hashtag progress. Love character development, you know? But I bought Black Rose by Karina Halley. One of my vamps, Megan, bought me Blood Orange in this Dracula duet series. So I bought the sequel. This is a spin-off duology to the Black Sunshine duology, which I really loved, and I'm really enjoying Blood Orange, so excited to have this. It's literally just a Dracula smutty retelling. But it actually has a plot. It's not just all sex, no plot, so I am enjoying that. Another sequel I bought without finishing the first one, but I am in the middle of. Bone Island. This is the sequel to Hollow Heathens. I'm not too far into that one, but I love the vibes, and I've heard only good things about the sequel as well. But it's huge, and why is the font so small? But I love this cover so much. It's so, like, just this blue, this shade of blue with stark black. Obsessed. It's a witchy fantasy in a small town. There's romance. It's a fantasy romance. I don't know why I'm having trouble describing this fucking book. And it's on KU too, so if you don't want to lug around the big physical books like me, it's there. Next, I got another book from Pango. I got The Rachel Incident by Carolyn O'Donoghue, and this is like a literary fiction coming of age, I think, about a messy 20-year-old works at a bookstore and then crosses paths with someone. She meets James and it's love at first sight. It's set in Ireland, and I'm just hoping for that witty Irish humor that Sally Rooney has. I love normal people, so I'm just hoping it has the same type of writing. Exciting Times by Something Dolan. I love that too. I have a thing for books set in Ireland too, so hopefully this is good. Look, another Dracula edition. Got it from Half Price Books. It's gorgeous. It also has illustrations in it. Moving on to The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. It's by Mariana Zapata. I loved All Roads Lead Here, but then I heard some problematic things about Mariana Zapata being racist towards Filipinos, so I'm just gonna show this book and move on. Still gonna read it because I bought it before knowing the thing, which is really depressing because I love All Roads Lead Here. I'm still gonna say I love it, but before I knew that stuff. Another book of the month pick is Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong. Have yet to finish a Chloe Gong book. I started These Violent Delights a couple years ago when it came out. Didn't finish it. I think I soft DNF'd it at like page 16 or 20 or something like that. But this is intriguing. There's like body jumping. That's really what got me. That's like a unique concept in this world, right? It's also like a Shakespeare retelling. There's a competition of some sort. But the body jumping is really what intrigued me. And look, the book of the month bookmark that says I'm in my villain era. I'm excited to eventually get to this one. I love this cover so much. Another book of the month pick. Oh, this was July's box that I got all 4 books for free from because of my birthday credit. I had a referral credit. It was a good month. Hello Stranger by Catherine Center. Love The Bodyguard. So excited for this. The female main character, I think, has like face recognition issues, and then she's also an artist. I love books that have art in them, so that's cool. If it's anything like The Bodyguard, it's already 5 stars for me. But yeah, the face blindness reminds me of Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney, so I was like, wow, sign me up. Then we have the Love Theoretically. Wow, I wonder why I got those two mixed up. Same fucking cover. Anyway, by Allie Hazelwood. I heard this one's really good. I heard it's a lot better than Love on the Brain, but I think I still want to read Love on the Brain first. But it's about 2 physicists. Rival physicists collide in a vortex of academic feuds and fake dating shenanigans in this delightfully STEMinist rom-com. I love The Love Hypothesis, and I loved a couple of the STEMinist novellas as well. So when I'm in the mood for the classic Allie Hazelwood tropes and descriptions of large men, then I will pick this up, as well as Love on the Brain. I also have the arc of her new YA novel, Check and Mate, and I think I started it briefly, but I heard really good things about this one. Like, a lot of people who don't really read romance have given this 5 stars, although the male love interest has my ex's name, so that sucks, but we'll try to push through. From that same box, I also got A Fire Endless by Rebecca Ross. I started A River Enchanted this month, and I love the writing, so I was like, let me do the toxic trait thing again and buy the sequel. Fuck it. Next, we have A Few Arcs Sent to Me by Macmillan, I believe. We have Starling House by Alex E. Harrow. Heard this is witchy. Heard it's not as good as Alex E. Harrow's other books, but I'm still willing to try. I love this cover. This comes out in October. It's published by Tor, and I usually have good experiences with Tor books. I know Sid has read this already and she gave it a 3-star, so we'll see. All I know is it's witchy. Eden, Kentucky is just another dying bad luck town, known only for the legend of East Starling, the reclusive 19th century author and illustrator who wrote The Underland and disappeared. Starling House appeared. It says it's a grim new tale about a small town haunted by secrets that can't stay buried and the sinister house that sits at the crossroads of it all. If there's like a semi-haunted house, I'm here for it. We'll see. We'll see. And then I got Last to Leave the Room by Caitlin Starling, who wrote The Death of Jane Lawrence. And I've heard good things about The Death of Jane Lawrence. I've owned it since it came out. And now this is Caitlin Starling's next book. Oh my god, The Starling House? Caitlin Starling, LOL. Speculative horror. Tamsin grows obsessed with the distorting dimensions of the room at the bottom of the stairs. She finds a door that didn't exist before. It opens to reveal an exact physical copy of her. Oh, it's a doppelganger one. Yeah, that's creepy. I have a couple doppelganger thrillers. Is that a vlog waiting to happen? Probably not. But I don't know, that just creeps me out, especially after watching Us. That's what it's called, right? The Jordan Peele movie. Doppelgangers have creeped me out ever since. Then we have Hemlock Island by Kelly Armstrong. Standalone horror. She's been renting her vacation home to strangers. The invasion of privacy gives her panic attacks, but it's the only way she can keep her beloved Hemlock Island, the only thing she owns after a pandemic-fueled divorce. You can kind of see where this is going. There are tensions and secrets, whispers in the woods, the discovery of a hand poking up from the earth, and the body that goes with it. By that time, someone has taken off with their one and only means off the island, and they're trapped with someone or something that doesn't want them leaving the island alive. How is the sun still peeking out and ruining my video? But yeah, I don't know, that sounds creepy. Let's hope it scares me. Next, we have a series that I bought. I don't know why. I found it cheap on eBay. The Kiss of Deception, what's it called again? The Remnant Chronicles series. I have Dance of Thieves, and then I was like, I kind of want to read these first. I read Morgan, the prequel, and I was like feeling the FOMO. Like, I want to know, you know? So I bought the series. And I just know there's a love triangle, and it's like your classic YA fantasy tropes. Got the paperbacks, hopefully I like them. I've heard decent things. I heard it's not too cringy, so we shall see. Next we have a book influenced by Noelle Seven Pages herself, The Marriage Portrait by Maggie O'Farrell. She said that it's like, I love you, but I want to kill you type of vibes. So I'm here for it. And like the cover reminds me of A Certain Hunger. I read a couple pages of the first chapter. It's set in Florence in the 1550s, so it's historical fiction, and it just sounds like a fun time if I'm in the mood for it. I just love these types of covers. The God of Endings by Jacqueline Holland, and this is a vampire book that's like a slow moving type of vampire book. My coworker recommended this to me because she said it's like a unique twist on the vampire trope, so we'll see how this goes. I'm really excited for this, and I got it for half off from Barnes & Noble, so I'm so excited. I hope it lives up to the hype I've built for myself. Then I have On the Nature of Magic by Marianne Womack. This was a cover buy, absolutely a cover buy, and it's witchy. 1902, Helena Walton Cisneros, known for finding answers to the impossible, has started her own detective agency. So there's like this murder mystery, and I believe it's witchy. Yeah, there's magic in here. Demons in the catacombs were more buzzwords for me, and connections to the occult. I'll read this eventually. The perfect combination of mystery and magic. I was on like a cozy, witchy murder mystery type of mood when I went to Half Price Books for this. I'm not like super excited about it, but I love this cover, and I feel like it'd be a high rating for me. I don't know why, I don't know what I'm basing that on, but there you go. Another book of the month book, Ink Blood Sister Scribe. A couple of my patrons have already DNF'd this, so I'm scared, but I know Sid, I think, liked it. But it's like a bookish book where there's like a magic library. Two estranged half-sisters tasked with guarding their family's library of magical books must work together to unravel a deadly secret at the heart of their collection. Tale of familial loyalty and betrayal and the pursuit of magic and power. Love a book with betrayals and bookish books, so we'll see where I stand with this one because I've been hearing mixed things. I heard it's super slow and boring, but I have a feeling I'd like it. Come on, right? I'd like this, right? What I do know I love is Divine Rivals. This is the Fairy Loot edition. This is the start of the obsession, the love that I had for this book, that I have for this book. Like, I'm just gonna show it one more time. Just one more time. Yeah. I have bought 2 more copies since I got this, since I've read it. And like I said, it's my #1 of the year. There are magical letters. It's an easy fantasy to fall into. It's riveting, especially at the end. There are sad parts. There are cute, wholesome parts. It's just a beautiful story. And Ruthless Vows comes out December, and you better believe I'm gonna take the day off. Super happy about that. I bought the US edition too, specifically because of this. It says Dear Iris on the typewriter, and I want to annotate it, and I'm not annotating that Fairy Loot one. No siree. And I also bought the UK paperback. I'll put a picture right here because it's still either en route to me or hasn't gotten to my mom's yet, but this is the other cover I bought. Then we have The Wishing Game by Meg Schaffer. I know a lot of people are putting this on their top 10 of 2023. I bought this because Liv's Library was reading it for her Patreon book club, but I never got to it. But I heard it's Willy Wonka, but make it bookish. And I was like, that sounds so fun. I usually don't like games and competitions in books, but trying to get used to it because there are a lot of books that have that trope nowadays. So, I mean, it's a bookish book. It's compared to Willy Wonka, so that just sounds like so much fun, you know? I've heard the writing is stunning and just like the magic. I don't know, everyone loves this book, so we'll see if I do too. The next one I got on Pango because I was on a kick of like just finding special editions for cheap prices. Spice Road by Maya Ibrahim. This is the Fairy Loot edition. My camera's dying, so we're gonna show this real quick. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And the inside, yep, things are falling out of it. But this is a fantasy, and I know nothing about it. Caught between her duty to her nation and her love for her brother, Imani must decide where her loyalties lie before it's too late. I think that's what got me, because I love when characters in fantasies, especially YA fantasies, have to make decisions. It says, whoever controls the spice controls the kingdom itself. I mean, it's a BIPOC author, so I was like, let me support, you know? Let me change out the batteries. BRB. We're almost done, I think. Not really, kind of. But moving on to another special edition I found on, I almost said Patreon, on Pango. Silver in the Bone by Alexandra Bracken. This is the author of Lore. Let me move you guys back a little bit. The book I said I haven't read yet, but like, come on. How could I resist that? But I heard this is Arthurian legend type of book. What? I heard this is like an Arthurian legend retelling. Yeah, it's cute. The back has different art too, but I'm not gonna open it up. I already hauled this in a vlog. But yeah, that's all I know. It's like an Arthurian legend thing. Break the curse before it breaks you. An exquisite fantasy crackling with dark magic. I haven't read anything by Alexandra Bracken yet, so we'll see. But this art print is also stunning. Tamsin Lark is a hollower breaking into the ancient crypts of dark sorceresses in search of the treasures inside. I just love dark magic, so let's just hope this is good. I love how Fairy Loot pages feel, or like special editions in general, or like UK hardcovers in general. I don't know, they're like thicker and just like they feel like such good quality. Kill Creek by Scott Thomas. Got this for $7.99 at Half Price Books. A haunted house book that everyone in the horror community seems to have read but me. So there are these authors who stay at a haunted house on Halloween nights, I believe, and shit goes down. A fight for survival. Bloody legacy of Kill Creek. It seems good. I always got this mixed up with Camp Slaughter, which I heard bad things about. So I'm glad I found this and got my shit straight, and I hope I like it because I've heard mixed things about this one too. Next we have A Natural History of Dragons, a memoir by Lady Trent, and this is written by Marie Brennan. So I heard about this book from Leora Aileen, and then Katie from Katie is Reading just read this. I think she's read the second book too, and I was on a dragon kick, so I just bought a bunch of dragon books. Song of Silver Flame Like Night. I had a Barnes & Noble reward, so I bought this too. Again, just dragon books, and I heard this one's compared to Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, which I didn't really enjoy, but if you make it dragons, maybe it'll be better. This, I have no idea what it's about. I really don't. I know it's a YA fantasy by an Asian author, and it has dragons. I hate reading synopses, dude. Both hold the power to liberate their land. Both hold the power to destroy the world. The battle for the last kingdom begins. A practitioner with a powerful ability hidden in the mark on her arm. It just sounds like a couple people who have a bunch of secrets and powers and hidden talents. And there's a battle and kingdoms and stuff. So I don't know if I'll like this. I just really like the cover, to be honest, and I've heard decent things about it. This is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, by the way. Clearly I love those. Another special edition, Silver Nitrate by Sylvia Mordeno Garcia. This is the Illumicrate Evernight edition. And this is a horror about like haunted media. So I think there's commentary on like the film industry and shit. I'm gonna go kind of blind into this. I don't know when I'm gonna get to this actually. So I just hope I understand most, if not all, of the movie references in this, because I'm not a huge movie buff, but I've gotten better since being with Joey. So see how I like this. And I do prefer the silver versus the red. This is a journal. Next, I have an ARC that was sent to me by Penguin. Dutton is like one of their what are they called? Imprints? I don't know. A Haunting in Hialeah Gardens, and this has a Faustian bargain in it because like this guy has a lot of debt or whatever, and then a debt collector comes and then the devil makes a deal with him, and I just love a good Faustian bargain. That's what got me interested, and it's by a Cuban-American author, and this comes out in October 2023. Next, I have another one I bought with my Barnes & Noble rewards, Blood Mercy by Bela Roth. This is a vampire fantasy romance. You've seen this. It's the 600 fantasy romances that people keep talking about. It's a huge series. I mean, it's vampires. I had to give it a shot. And not gonna lie, I did read the Amazon sample, and I think I'm gonna be highly, highly confused. I heard there's a lot of like political intrigue in this, and I feel like my brain is gonna be no thoughts head empty, but they're vampires. I sound so dumb. All right, this one I've heard no one talk about, and I feel like no one but me has read The Mister by E.L. James, but The Missus just came out. Okay, I describe The Mister as Taken, like the movie Taken with Liam Neeson, but make it into a book and with more sex. It's really fucking good. This is the author of 50 Shades of Grey, if you didn't know. And I honestly forgot I had this book, but now I kind of want to read it. I really like The Mister. 50 Shades of Grey is one of my guilty pleasures. It was the series that got me back into reading after high school when required reading was all over. Yeah, if you didn't know, fun fact about me, I guess. So this is a sequel to The Mister. There's like a, was she his maid or something? There's this rich dude and there was a maid, I think, and she gets like kidnapped and stuff, and he saves her in the first book, and then I don't know, I don't really know what happens in this one, but it's a continuation of it. So next we have a book that is Yes, we have many books, Jan. It's Forging Silver into Stars by Bridget Kemmerer. This is the UK edition. I think this is the Waterstones exclusive. I like this a lot better than the US edition. Bridget Kemmerer wrote the Cursebreakers trilogy, which I still have to read the third one for. I think this is set in the same world, and I don't know why I hyper-fixated on this book one day at work and I just bought it. I even negotiated on Pango for this. But it sounded good. An ancient magic. Magic has been banished in the kingdom of Silas Shallow for as long as Jax can remember. Now times are changing and magic has returned in the form of a mage-smith king on the throne. Magic won't save Jax or his best friend Callan when the tax collector comes along. A newfound love, a dark fate. So it sounds like there's gonna be romance and some cool magic in it. Moving on, because clearly I'm doing great. Next, we have Damsel by Evelyn Skye. This is another dragon book that I was interested in, and one of my subscribers, Christina, sent it to me. And I think this is being made, this is being made into a Netflix show or movie. This came out in March. An epic twist on the damsel in distress. Oh, it's a movie starring Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things. It's an ancient arrangement. The women who came before Elodie did not go quietly. Their blood pulses with power and memory, and their experiences hold the key to Elodie's survival. Forced to fight for her life, this damsel must use her wits to defeat a dragon, uncover Aurea's past, and save not only herself, but the future of her new kingdom as well. Don't know who Aurea is. Oh, Aurea's the kingdom. My head's starting to hurt. I'm talking too much. But we're gonna move on to another edition of Dracula. This is the new Signature Classics thing that has all the like the modern looking covers. This is my first one in that collection, but I just had to get the Dracula one. Like, look at the little face. Then we have a book that hasn't come out in the US yet. Sarah from Sarah Shelves told me about this. The same author as Acts of Desperation, which was on my top 10 of 2021, I believe. Ordinary Human Failings. And it just sounds so good. It's a literary fiction. It's probably about a messy 20-something-year-old. It's 1990 in London. That was all I needed. I was like, she is an auto by author for me. Oh, is there like a murder too? It sounds great. It sounds fun. I love this cover. I love when books have the like the black and white and then with a pop of color. Next, we have a book sent to me by a publisher. I forget which one. I don't remember. Thank you to whoever sent me this. But it's Her Little Flowers by Shannon Morgan. This was on my most anticipated list for, was it August? I don't remember anything. But it says, intrigue blends with gothic horror in this beautifully written, atmospheric, and emotionally complex page-turner set in an eerie old English country manor filled with secrets. Like, that just sounds great. That sounds great to me. And I love this cover. Again, with like the black and white and the colors. Love it. Next, I have another special edition I bought on Pango. A Dark and Hollow Star. This is an urban fantasy with fae, and it kind of just reminds me of these hollow vows. I wanted those vibes in something, so this is a big boy, and I think the sequel is out, but then the third one comes out soon. I haven't heard too many people talk about this. I mean, granted, this came out a couple years ago, but it just sounds like it'll be fun to read. I love books with fae in it. I'm not a huge fan of urban fantasy, but if it has fae, I might be able to look past it. We have another arc sent to me by one of my subscribers, Catherine, so thank you so much. But it's Kylie Lee Baker's newest book, The Scarlet Alchemist. It comes out October 3rd. It's October 3rd. This is the first in a YA fantasy duology set in an alternate Tang Dynasty China where alchemy has flourished. Kylie Lee Baker wrote The Keeper of Night and The Empress of Time, and I love them both. One of my favorite YA series, YA duologies, whatever, fantasy duologies. I'm just saying words. She's a great writer. I heard there's a lot of body horror in this, so I'm stoked. I need to read this very soon. Hopefully before October I can get to this. I better read this in September. Jan? Read this in September. Next, I have another arc that comes out on Halloween of this year, The Reformatory by Tanana Reeve Du. I have not read anything by this author, but I know a bunch of my friends love Tanana Reeve. I love saying this author's name. It just sounds so fun. Bree from Bree Cherie Reads loves this author. Bree from Locked Book Titian does too. I'm excited that I own this, that I have this in my hand. It's set in 1950 Gracetown, Florida. Why did I want to read this? Notorious reformatory known as the Gracetown School for Boys. Terrified about rumors that it's haunted. Uneasy friendship with a ghost. I think that's what got me. The haunted school is what got me. Historical fiction set in Jim Crow, Florida. He's sent to a segregated reform school and sees sees the horrors of racism and injustice for both the living and the dead. Sounds deep, sounds dark, and sounds very creepy. It's a big book. I'm scared. I've only heard good things about this author, so. I have The Chateau, again for that thriller set in France vlog, but this is a newer release. I got this from Pango for cheaper. It's by Jacqueline Goldis. I've heard mediocre things about this one, but it was after I bought it already, so I just know there's like a bunch of drama, there's like social media stuff in this. It's set in a castle in Provence, where the lady of the chateau has opened its elegant doors to her granddaughter Darcy and 3 friends. There are fancy dinners, celebrations. The lady of the chateau is brutally murdered. Sinister Instagram account pops up, exposing snapshots from the friends' intimate moments at the chateau, while threatening to reveal more. So it's that type of stuff, like blackmail. I like the setting, so I hope I like this. Next we have a Darcy Coates book, The Haunting of Lee Harker. This was recommended by Erin from Erin Megan. She loves Darcy Coates. She's like the biggest Darcy Coates fan I know, and I went to a Darcy Coates event, and so I bought this to hopefully get to it before the event, and that did not happen. But this is one of her haunted house books. Love the haunted house trope, and I loved The Haunting of Ashburn House by Darcy Coates, so I hope this is just as creepy. Next we have another bookish book, The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence. I'm scared. Why did I buy this big ass book? I don't know, but this is another like magical library, I think. 2 strangers find themselves connected by a vast and mysterious library containing many wonders and still more secrets in this powerfully moving first book in a new series. This is gonna be a series. The boy is trapped within a book-choked chamber, older than empires and larger than cities. The girl has spent hers in a tiny settlement out on the dust where nightmares stalk and no one goes. The world has never even noticed them. That's about to change. Yeah, just from the synopsis alone, it just sounds so good. It sounds like it's gonna have beautiful writing. I love this cover, and it just like looks so enchanting, you know? Next, we have another special edition of The Last Hours. This is Chain of Gold. I love that the Naked has that cover on it. Like I said, Chain of Thorns was the reason I picked these up, and it's the only one that I don't have that cover for. There's that. I got it for a decent price on Pango, so that's what that is. And then I have another sequel for a first book that I haven't read yet, Beasts of Ruin by Yana Gray. But my logic was that I wanted this cover because it would match my Beasts of Prey copy, which is on my 23 for 2023. So I will be reading that this year. But I have the sequel, and it's so cute. It has like little shimmery parts. You can't really see it. I do prefer these covers over the new ones, but it sucks because the 3rd one's coming out, I think, and I don't know if they're gonna make a cover that matches, but whatever. This is a fantasy. I mean, it's a sequel, so I don't even know what happens in the first one, so sorry. Again, Google and Goodreads are free. All right, next I have Crown of Feathers by Nikki Palperito. And this is about like magical phoenixes, phoenixi. And that's all I know, and I've heard really good things about this from Sid and Sid's Patreon. Pretty backlisted. I know the whole series is out, I believe, so we'll see if I like it and want to continue on. But it says, I'm a daughter of death. From the ashes I rose like a phoenix from the pyre. I don't think I've ever read a book that's centered around phoenixes. I mean, the only phoenix I remember is from He Who Shall Not Be Named series, but here's this. And lastly, this is the last book, everyone. I think this is like an hour-long video, but we have The Invisible Hour by Alice Hoffman. This just came out. This, I think, explores like the love of books, and Alice Hoffman wrote the Practical Magic series, and I love her writing. So, not in Practical Magic itself, but I read Rules of Magic, and I love that. Nathaniel Hawthorne, isn't that the name of the guy in Sorcery of Thorns? Mia fell in love with a book. As a young woman, she falls in love with a brilliant writer as she makes her way back in time. But what if Nathaniel Hawthorne, oh, that's the author of The Scarlet Letter, I'm fucking stupid, never wrote The Scarlet Letter, and what if Mia Jacob never found it on the day she planned to die? Nathaniel Hawthorne wrote, a single dream is more powerful than 1,000 realities. This is a story of one woman's dream. For a little while it came true. This just sounds so fucking good. I've heard only good things about this. I love the font. I might read this soon. This sounds so good. But this sounds like the type of book that I'll forget I own, so I gotta like make it visible. This is another arc from my subscriber Christina. So thank you so much. She's a Dose of Cozy on Instagram, if you were wondering. Those are all the books. If you made it to the end of this video, put the emoji with like peeking through your fingers, you know, because that's how I feel about having all these books to haul. I'm gonna be working on my physical TBR now because library books are dunsies until we move at the end of October, so hopefully I crank a bunch of these out. But thank you so much for watching. Let me know which of these books you're excited for in the comments down below. Hope y'all had a great day. Stay safe and stay spooky always, and I'll see y'all in my next one. Bye!